Have you ever looked at someone else's life and quietly wondered why things seem to be working out for them while you are still struggling? Maybe you opened social media and saw someone getting married, buying a new house, starting a successful business, traveling the world, or reaching goals you have been praying about for years. Maybe you smiled on the outside, but inside you felt discouraged. You felt like you were falling behind. You started questioning yourself. You started questioning your journey. You even started questioning God. If that sounds familiar, this message is for you. Stay with me until the end, because what we are about to talk about has the power to completely change the way you see your life. One of the fastest ways to steal your peace is to compare your life to someone else's. Comparison can make a blessed person feel cursed. It can make a successful person feel like a failure. It can make someone who is making progress feel like they are standing still. The truth is that many people are carrying unnecessary pain because they keep measuring their lives against people they were never meant to become. God did not create you to be a copy. He created you to be you. The moment you start chasing someone else's path, you begin losing sight of your own purpose. One of the biggest lies comparison tells us is that everyone else has it better than we do. The problem is that we are usually comparing our behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. We see the promotion, but we do not see the years of rejection. We see the wedding photos, but we do not see the struggles behind the marriage. We see the successful business, but we do not see the sleepless nights, the failures, and the sacrifices. Social media has made it easier than ever to compare ourselves to people we barely know. We scroll through carefully edited moments and assume that is their everyday reality. We convince ourselves that everyone else is winning while we are losing. But life is not that simple. Every person you admire is fighting battles you cannot see. Every person you envy has struggles they rarely talk about. Every person who seems ahead in one area is behind in another. The enemy loves comparison because it distracts you from gratitude. Instead of appreciating what God is doing in your life, you become obsessed with what God is doing in someone else's life. Think about this for a moment. If God wanted another version of that person, He would have created another version of them. But He did not. He created you. He gave you your personality, your gifts, your experiences, your challenges, and your calling. There is something unique about your journey that cannot be copied. There is a purpose attached to your life that belongs to you alone. The problem begins when we stop appreciating who God made us to be and start wishing we were someone else. The more you focus on another person's blessings, the less you notice your own. The more you stare at another person's lane, the more likely you are to drift out of yours. Imagine a runner in a race constantly looking left and right to see what everyone else is doing. They would lose focus. They would lose momentum. They might even trip and fall. The same thing happens in life. Comparison takes your eyes off your assignment and places them on someone else's. Many people feel like failures simply because they have created timelines that God never gave them. Society tells us where we should be by a certain age. It tells us when we should be married, when we should have children, when we should own a house, when we should become successful, and when we should have everything figured out. When our lives do not match those expectations, we feel inadequate. We feel left behind. But God does not operate according to human timelines. Some people succeed early. Some people succeed later. Some people find their purpose in their 20s. Others discover it in their 40s, 50s, or even later. The important thing is not how fast you arrive. The important thing is that you stay faithful on the journey. A delayed blessing is not necessarily a denied blessing. Just because something has not happened yet does not mean it will never happen. God's timing often looks different from our expectations, but His timing is always intentional. One of the most freeing truths you can learn is that your value does not come from keeping up with other people. Your value comes from God. The world says you are valuable because of what you own, what you achieve, how much money you make, or how many people admire you. God says you are valuable because He created you. Think about how much pressure disappears when you truly believe that. You no longer have to prove yourself to everyone. You no longer have to compete with people who are not even competing with you. You no longer have to live exhausted from trying to impress others. Instead, you can focus on becoming the person God designed you to be. Real peace begins when you stop chasing validation from people and start finding your identity in God. Sometimes comparison is actually a sign that we have forgotten how far we have come. We become so focused on what we have not achieved that we ignore the progress we have already made. Take a moment and think about your life. Think about the battles God brought you through. Think about the prayers He already answered. Think about the doors He already opened. Think about the strength He gave you when you thought you could not continue. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you are also not where you used to be. That matters. Growth matters. Progress matters. Small victories matter. Every step forward matters. When you start appreciating your own journey, comparison begins to lose its power over you. If you want to stop comparing your life to everyone else's, start practicing gratitude every day. Gratitude changes your focus. It reminds you of what you have instead of what you lack. It reminds you that God has been faithful even when life has been difficult. It reminds you that blessings come in many forms. Sometimes the blessing is not the thing you are asking for. Sometimes the blessing is the strength to keep going. Sometimes the blessing is the lesson you learned through the struggle. Sometimes the blessing is the protection from something that looked good but would have hurt you later. The more grateful you become, the less room comparison has to grow. Gratitude and comparison cannot thrive in the same heart for very long. Today, I want to encourage you to stop measuring your life against everyone else's journey. Stop assuming you are behind. Stop believing the lie that your story is less important than someone else's story. God is still writing your story. Your chapter 1 cannot be compared to someone else's chapter 20. Your journey is unique. Your purpose is unique. Your timing is unique. The fact that someone else is succeeding does not mean you are failing. The fact that someone else received a blessing does not mean there are no blessings left for you. Trust God's process. Trust God's timing. Keep moving forward one day at a time. The same God who opened doors for others is able to open doors for you. The same God who carried you this far will carry you the rest of the way. Your story is not over. Your best days are not necessarily behind you. Keep believing, keep growing, keep trusting. And most importantly, keep your eyes on God instead of everyone else. As we continue this conversation, I want to speak directly to the person who feels exhausted from watching everyone else move ahead. Maybe you have been patient for years. Maybe you have prayed, worked hard, stayed faithful, and done everything you know how to do, yet it feels like the results are showing up in other people's lives and not your own. That feeling can be incredibly discouraging. It can make you wonder if God has forgotten about you. It can make you question whether your efforts even matter. But I want you to remember something important. God's silence is not His absence. Just because you cannot see what He is doing does not mean He is doing nothing. Some of God's greatest works happen beneath the surface before they ever become visible. A seed spends a long time underground before anyone sees a sign of growth. During that hidden season, important things are happening. Roots are developing. Strength is being built. Preparation is taking place. In the same way, God may be working on things in your life that you cannot yet see. Do not mistake a hidden season for a wasted season. What feels like waiting may actually be preparation for something greater than you imagined. Another reason comparison is so dangerous is because it can make us rush into things that God never intended for us. When we see other people reaching milestones, we sometimes feel pressured to catch up. We make decisions out of panic instead of wisdom. We enter relationships because we feel lonely. We take opportunities because we feel left behind. We chase success because we feel insecure. We begin moving based on fear rather than faith, but rushing ahead of God rarely leads to peace. Many of the mistakes people regret were made because they were trying to keep up with someone else. They were trying to force a season that had not yet arrived. They were trying to achieve in months what God intended to develop over years. God's timing may not always make sense in the moment, but it protects us from things we are not ready for. Sometimes what looks like a delay is actually divine protection. Sometimes God says, "Not yet," because He knows what we cannot see. Trusting His timing requires faith, but it also brings freedom. It is also important to understand that comparison often grows when we do not know our purpose. When you are unsure of your direction, everyone else's path starts to look better than yours. You start admiring lives that were never designed for you. You begin chasing goals that do not actually align with your calling. The more you discover who God created you to be, the less interested you become in trying to be someone else. Purpose gives you focus. Purpose gives you confidence. Purpose gives you peace. When you know where God is leading you, you stop feeling threatened by the success of others. Instead of becoming jealous, you become inspired. Instead of feeling discouraged, you become encouraged. You realize that another person's blessing does not take anything away from your own future. God is not limited. He does not run out of opportunities. He does not have a shortage of blessings. What He has planned for you does not need to be stolen from someone else. Many people secretly carry the burden of feeling behind in life. They compare their age, their income, their relationships, their achievements, and even their spiritual growth to others. But who decided what behind actually means? The world creates standards that constantly change. One year it says success looks one way, and the next year it says something completely different. If you spend your life trying to meet everyone's expectations, you will never find peace. The truth is that life is not a race against other people. Your journey is not supposed to look exactly like theirs. God writes different stories for different people. Some stories include quick victories. Others include long seasons of growth. Some people experience breakthroughs early. Others develop strength through years of perseverance. Neither path is better than the other. They are simply different. Stop judging your life by someone else's schedule. God is not grading your life based on another person's timeline. One of the healthiest things you can do is learn to celebrate other people's victories without allowing them to diminish your own value. This is not always easy. It takes maturity. It takes humility. It takes trust in God. But there is something powerful that happens when you genuinely rejoice with others. Your heart becomes lighter. Bitterness loses its grip. Jealousy begins to fade. Instead of viewing another person's success as evidence of your failure, you begin to see it as evidence that good things are possible. If God can work in their life, He can work in yours too. Their blessing is not proof that you have been forgotten. It is proof that God is still moving. The same God who opened a door for them is fully capable of opening the right door for you at the right time. I also want to encourage you to be careful about the voices you listen to every day. Some voices constantly tell you that you are not enough. They tell you that you need more, achieve more, own more, and become more before you can be happy. Those voices create a cycle of comparison that never ends. There will always be someone with more money. There will always be someone with more followers. There will always be someone who seems more successful. If your peace depends on being ahead of everyone else, you will never have peace. True contentment comes from knowing that your worth is secure in God. It comes from understanding that your identity is not determined by public opinion. You do not have to earn your value. You do not have to compete for your significance. God already knows your name, your struggles, your dreams, and your future. Maybe today you feel unseen. Maybe you feel overlooked. Maybe you feel like your efforts are not producing results. If that is you, please hear this. Your story is still being written. The chapter you are living right now is not the entire book. Some of the greatest testimonies begin with seasons of confusion, disappointment, and waiting. Do not allow a temporary season to convince you that your future has no hope. Keep showing up. Keep trusting God. Keep growing even when progress feels slow. Keep believing even when answers seem distant. Every day that you remain faithful is a day closer to the person God is shaping you to become. The growth happening inside you may be more valuable than the breakthrough you are waiting for. As we come to the end of this message, I want to leave you with this thought. The life God has planned for you cannot be lived by comparing yourself to everyone else. It can only be lived by walking closely with Him one day at a time. You do not need to have all the answers today. You do not need to know exactly how everything will work out. You simply need to trust the one who holds your future. The next time you are tempted to compare your life to someone else's, Pause and remember how far God has already brought you. Remember that your journey has value. Remember that your purpose matters. Remember that your timing is in God's hands. Most importantly, remember that you are deeply loved by God exactly where you are right now. Keep your eyes on Him, keep your heart grateful, and keep moving forward with faith. Your story is unique, your calling is real, and your best days may be much closer than you think. Thank you for spending this time with me. May God fill your heart with peace, confidence, and the courage to embrace the beautiful journey He has designed just for you.